Hi everyone, I'm Megan from Catherine James, and today we're going to talk about Art Deco jewelry and what exactly the Art Deco design period is. The term Art Deco is one we hear a lot, and it's so common that sometimes it can get a little lost and we're kind of wondering what does it really mean anymore. It's a design period that there are examples of it as early as 1910, but technically we kind of think of it as the period that happened between the First and Second World War, so that would be 1918 to 1939. The name itself was actually taken from the French name of an exposition that was held in Paris in 1925. That exposition was famous for showing very visionary and modern ideas across, all different types of industries, including jewelry. It had different entrepreneurs and trades and business owners that were there, kind of showing this new, very, modern and technologically advanced inventions and designs that they had come up with. And Cartier is a jeweler that is famous for being at that exposition and really being a leader in this new Art Deco style. This exposition is one of the reasons why Art Deco is considered to have originated in France, but it did spread across Europe into North America very quickly. This is because Art Deco, really coincided with a lot of events that were happening in the world around the same time. You had the Industrial Revolution, you had new, mass-produced products for consumers that was happening at a very rapid rate that had never happened before, and of course the end of the First World War. Of course, the period before the First World War was known as the Edwardian period, or La Belle Époque. And this also coincided with the Art Nouveau period, which happened at around the same time, and again, there's a lot of overlap. And that period was known for being, filled with luxury and very kind of over the top and filled with frivolous design, and Edwardian jewelry was very feminine, very romantic. It had a lot of bows and ribbon motifs and flowers and flora and fauna, and it was kind of the epitome of feminine elegance, you could say. And if you want to know more about Edwardian jewelry, we also have an article that's up now on our webpage at kjj.rocks. So we'll put the link below and you can check that out. So the post-war mood, especially in Europe, was, a lot heavier than that frivolity that had happened during the Edwardian period. In a lot of ways, it was a rejection of all of that kind of frivolous and romantic and somewhat feminine ideas of design. And so, in the midst of this mass industrial revolution, a lot of technologies had been developed during the war. And so there really was this new obsession with in industry and technology, and cars were being developed, skyscrapers were being built, ocean liners. All of a sudden people were traveling for leisure much more than they had in the past, and so this really contributed to the design sense of that period. In a way, it really was a turn away from all of the feminine and somewhat pretty ideas of design and fashion in the past. So when we look at Art Deco jewelry, we see a lot of geometric lines, a lot of ways it mimicked the architecture that was happening at that time. We see bold, contrasting colors, a total opposite of what we saw during, again, the Art Nouveau and Edwardian periods, which really loved monochrome things and very pastel and pretty feminine colors. Art Deco was all about contrast and boldness and brightness. And again, there was a lot of development happening. So there was the development of different types of gem cuts. Again, mimicking the kind of settings that we saw, very geometric and angular and straight lines. It was all about step cuts. There was new baguettes, emerald cuts, Asher cuts, and those really fit in perfectly with this new Art Deco style. As I mentioned, people were starting to travel more than ever before, so there was this new obsession with, far-off lands and exotic cultures in fashion and jewelry. And King Tut's tomb was also discovered in 1922, and that led to a whole new wave of, excitement and interest in Egyptian revival style. There was also a lot of Japanese influence and Indian influence, and we saw that specifically with, carved gemstones, cabochon gemstones, which were very popular in India. And Cartier actually created a style that's still very famous to this day called Tutti Frutti. And that features carved gems in rubies, emeralds, sapphires, diamonds, all shown together in, you know, one necklace or one bracelet. Bold contrasting colors, very exotic looking, and that is a perfect example of kind of the epitome of Art Deco style at that time. Again, during the Edwardian period, diamonds and pearls and kind of this very monochrome look with, you know, the most expensive and luxurious gemstones that the upper classes could get their hands on. In the Art Deco style, this interest in really bold colors and, you know, exotic style really opened up jewelry design in general, and there was a lot of interest in more exotic stones, including, you know, lapis lazuli, jade, coral, onyx, all of these beautiful colors, malachite, you know, bright contrasting shades. And of course, pearls were also still very popular because of the invention of culturing pearls, which happened in the 30s. A lot of new jewelry styles were introduced during the Roaring 20s after the First World War, especially because the culture had, you know, changed so much, especially the position of women in the workplace and in society. They were wearing their hair a lot shorter, their necklines were lower, their hemlines were higher, so they wanted, you know, longer necklaces, longer, dangly, more flashy earrings, more interesting things to put in their hair clips, hair combs. The bandeau style was really popular. They were wearing watches for the first time. And of course, going to parties and entertaining was kind of all the rage, and so cigarette cases and cocktail rings, vanity cases were introduced. They were essentially, you know, the predecessor to a clutch bag, but they were very neatly organized with, you know, lovely little compartments for every single thing they thought they would need throughout the evening. And double clip brooches were very popular during the Art Deco period, and they were basically two perfectly matching little clip brooches that they could wear together or separately, either on their collar or on their shoes, or, you know, even in their hair or somewhere else on their outfit. They were a great investment because they could be worn in so many different ways. Now, of course, antique Art Deco jewelry is highly sought after. People love its elegance, its sophistication, and, you know, those structural lines and beautiful graphic contrasting colors with different gemstones. And so if you want to learn more about our antique Art Deco pieces, you can check out our website, kjj.rocks. And we also have a lot of amazing Art Deco reproduction jewelry, which is also very popular because you get that beautiful look without necessarily the worry of wearing an antique, especially if you want to wear it every day and, you know, in your mind know that it's a little bit more low maintenance. If you're a fan of Art Deco jewelry, let us know in the comments below. Tell us what styles you love, what colors, or if there's a special piece you've been after. And if you have any gem or jewelry questions, be sure to send us a comment or a DM or a message, and we'll try to get to it in a future video. Thank you so much for watching.